Good morning, everyone. Today is going to be a really big day. What I have to do today is take the beehives apart again. We don't want to do it too many times, but this is a necessary take apart. Looking for Varroa mites and small hive beetles. We live in Florida, so it's a very hot climate, and these little insects, parasites, they really go crazy in your hive, so you've got to test for them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do an alcohol wash test. We're going to count how many Varroa mites there are per 100 bees, and this is going to get quite interesting, and it's going to be a hot, long day to go through all this, but I'll cut out all the boring parts for you and give you a quick breakdown of how everything's happening, and try to explain it as I'm going along. So anyway, you guys come along and let's get into it.
Beekeeping is fun. Let's go.
All right, so here's my table set up. I've got everything that I could possibly think of out here in the field. And then that way I won't have to run back to the shop and get anything. I'm going to be using the Apivar Strips. They were rated as some of the best in the hive to eliminate the Varroa mites. There's my check. And also what I want to do while I'm in there at the bottom of the hive, I want to add new hive beetle traps because the other ones are propolized and the beetles can't get in. So anyway, here's everything I need. I got my gloves, I'm ready to go. And so I'm going to go ahead now and just fill up these little beetle hive traps. These are my favorite ones. I've used the other ones in the past, the ones that have the black at the top and they're clear at the bottom. They don't seem to lay as flat as these do. These lay really flat against the frames in the corner of the hive in the brood box, and they will allow the bees to push the beetles over inside of it. Okay, so here's my little Varroa mite container for testing the bees. I'm going to fill it up halfway with 70% alcohol, and then that'll be ready to go. Now, the whole process started when I found this bee outside. He was outside the hive, flopping around, so I picked him up, took him home, got a real close look at him, and I found out that he had deformed winged virus, the DMV. So this is what started this whole search to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the hive. And I'm going to go ahead and take everything apart all the way down to the brood box. So here we go. So let me go ahead and get my smoker ready. I'm using pine straw in here. Pine straw is all over the place on my property, so it's readily available. And it makes pretty decent smoke, actually. Try to calm everybody down, because once I start taking this hive apart, they're going to get really upset. And this is going to be an extensive takedown also. This is not recommended to do all the time, but when you got to get to the bottom of the brood box, you got to do what you got to do. And this lid seems to be propolized on top. They like to propolize everything. They just glue it all together. I'm not even sure why you put bricks on it half the time. They glue it down so tight, the wind's not going to blow it off. So anyway, let me clear out the top part. This is my vented super that I made on my last video. Seems to be doing pretty good. But once again, they propolized that down too. And it actually, they glued the inner cover down into it, so just pick up the whole thing at one piece. All right, now this box that I'm smoking right now, this is the honey super. And this is my honey super that I would be collecting for the year to get honey. But these bees are new. They did not fill that honey super up. And I do have the queen excluder right below this white box here that I'm taking off. And as I inspected this box, I found there to be no honeycomb, no honey, nothing in it except for a bunch of blank frames. Even though the bees are all in it, they're not drawing the comb out. Go ahead and I'm going to take off the queen excluder. I'm not going to need that for the rest of the year because we're getting close to the end of the year. And I'm going to let the bees just have the whole box to make as much honey as they can for the winter. But I want to go ahead and take out the small hive beetle traps. You can see this is the top ones. I've got 2 at the top, and you can see they're catching beetles at the top. And I'm also got 4 at the bottom. And that trap has only been in there about 2 weeks. That one's only got 1 beetle in that. But I'm going to leave all that together for right now. Now let's get into the honey super. I always call it their honey super, but this one is completely full. There might be maybe 1 frame that's not drawn out all the way yet. But since this is a honey super, there's a slim chance that the queen's going to be up in that. Right now at this time of the year, it's pretty hot. And you can see that that frame there has got one side's not even drawn out, where the other side's, you know, got a nice little covering of wax. But the queen should be down in the brood box, but I am going to do a quick look at these to make sure she didn't get up there. I do everything in slow motion. Sorry guys, I don't really like killing bees, but today's going to be a pretty bad day for the bees. There's going to be a few of them that have to pass for this process to take place. I'm checking the 2 outside frames because I can look down inside and see the other ones are drawn out. I know that you can't see it from your angle, but they are drawn out in the middle. And the 2 sides are, you can see the comb here. They've covered it all up, making good honey, getting ready for the winter. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. You can see a bee crawling across my camera. Now, since this one's 90% full of honey, it should be quite heavy. A little extra smoke never hurts. Now, the thing about these wax hives is that they sit in the sun, and they glue themselves together really, really tight. This super has not been off of here since April. Actually, you know what? I think I may have put this on in May after I got the nuke started. So it's been on there most of the summer, and it is glued down tight. I'm still debating on whether or not I like the waxed hives. I'm going to do a video at the end of the year of what I actually think about how they've worked for the year. Now let me get this off of here so we can get down to the brood box. And man, this thing is heavy. Feels like a sack of concrete. I'd probably say it's at least 50 pounds. Now this is where the work starts. I have got to find the queen and all of this. And the longer I leave it open, the more she's going to try to hide from me. So this is going to be a long process right here. But looking down in there, you can see that they've got honeycomb drawn out. They've got brood. And here are the beetle traps at the bottom. You can see they've propylized the top of that one. They're sealing all those beetles in there so they can't get back out. Those plastic little trays that I just showed you, those work really well because they sit really tight up against the frame and the outside of the box. So there's no gap anywhere. When they push them over into the corner, they just fall right in them. And I'm going to scrape off all this extra wax here at the top. Just go ahead and do a little cleanup while I'm in here. I don't get this deep into the hive very often. As long as everything's going good, there's really no reason to go digging in it. But they've glued the frames together here. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out these small hive beetle traps here. Holy smack, that one is full. That one has been in there since May. So that's 3 months. Now, some people say put the traps at the bottom of the hive, but and then some say put it at the top of the hive. Well, that's going to be up to you. I just put them at the top and bottom. That way, I cover both my bases. And you can see they propylize these also. All right, I'm going to add a little bit more smoke, trying to keep everybody calm. And I'm going to pull these beetle traps out on this side over here. And they're just as full over here. See how well they work? They've caught a ton of beetles. What is it, probably about 30, 40 beetles? Every single trap is full. So I put them all in the corners. I mean, they like to push them over into the corners and the beetles fall right over in the traps. That's just regular vegetable oil. Now they also propylize the top of this one. That's what they do. So you got to check them every so often, but we've got the new ones fixing to go in that are nice and clean. I'll take these back to the shop and clean those up and save those for next year. All right, so now the long process starts, trying to find the queen. And you're probably asking yourself, you know, why do I want to try to find the queen? Well, we're going to have to do a bee sample. And we're going to have to shake the frames off into a container. So the last thing you want to do is shake off the queen into the container and put her in the alcohol bath. So I'm trying to be overcautious here. Kind of give you an idea that down here in the brood box, we got a lot of pollen. They even got honey down in there also with them. They're just making use of these frames. But they still have room to grow in there, which is great. So that was an outside frame. Now I use this little puller in my hand there. The gloves and stuff really make it hard to get a grip on the frame. I know you could use the hive tool there to pull it out, but this little puller works great for getting them straight out. The only problem is once you get it out, it makes it very hard to start flipping it around. So whenever possible, I do use my hands, but that puller tool works great to get started with. And then after that, I quit using it. Give myself enough space to get my fingers in there. I did not see the queen on that one. Now you notice that the frames in the middle, there's 5 of them that are black. Those came with my nuke box, my nuke package. And I'm not really sure that I like the plastic frames. I think I prefer the wood better. All right, so we've got a lot of brood on this one. All covered up, ready to hatch. Did not see a queen on that one. Searching for the queen is a little bit hard, especially this time of the year. After the queen has been in here for so long, they clean her up and you don't see the spot on her anymore, the colored marking that you put on her. So you got to look real hard for her, but eventually you'll find her. You can see the bees busy at work. Now I do believe I just found her. Yep, she's right here. Go ahead and gently pick her up. Don't want to hurt her. Got a few extra bees with her. But we're going to be real careful with her. But I'm going to still keep going and searching all the other frames. I need to be looking for the brood patterns. I need to be looking for anything that looks wrong in here. Making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I only get down in here like once a year. I come down this deep in the hive, so it's important to do a good inspection. Now the Varroa mites the whole process is because of the Varroa mites. The Varroa mites have got so many diseases that they give the bees. And I showed you one with the wing deformation, but there's a whole bunch of other diseases. I can't even pronounce them, they're so big. But if you got Varroa mites, it's a horrible thing, and I believe this is going to be a yearly event fighting these guys. And everybody uses a different type of insecticides, I guess you would call it. They are parasites on the bees. But you can use acid, you could use the smoke method, you could use the Apivar Strips. I'm choosing the Apivar Strips to do this because I don't have the smoking machine. But if I had 100 hives, I would probably go to the smoker because it's a lot quicker. You probably don't even have to take all this apart. You just, shoot the smoke in the entrance. But right now I'm doing a thorough inspection of this. And I'm going to be adding the Varroa strips, the Apivar strips here in a few minutes. Here's a close-up of the bees. If you get real close, you can see that there are Varroa mites on their backs. If you pause it, I'll try to put a circle around it where I see the Varroa mites when I pause it, but you could see they're definitely in there. Go ahead and check these last two frames real quick. That one looks like mostly honey. Got one more to go, and then we can start our test. All right, that frame there has got a little bit drawn out on the outside. Not much at all. All right, so let's go ahead and start this test. What we're going to do is shake these bees off in my container here. And then we're going to scoop them up with the strainer that comes with the Varroa tester container. So that's the first frame. Here's the second frame. Try to do it as quick as you can because they'll fly out of your bucket. Give it a little thump down in there. And I made a mistake. I left the lid off of the tester container, and it's filled with alcohol, and a few bees already fell in there. Should have left the lid on, but anyway, live and learn. So I'm going to try to scoop up enough bees to do the test for 300 bees. And there's lines down inside this little strainer. You can't see them, the bees are in the way, but I'm going to go ahead and scoop it up to the top line. That'll be a 300 count of bees. And I'm going to go ahead and shake it up. And you can see the bees that fell in the alcohol first. They're kind of in there. This, to a lot of people, is cruel. But this is the most accurate way using the alcohol because it makes the Varroa mites fall off of the bees. And you can see them and count them so much easier. Some people use the powdered sugar method. But by far you can see these a lot easier. And some bees are going to have to be sacrificed for this. Now looking at this container, that's what it looks like on the bottom. And then I counted 37 Varroa mites in this sample. And I also counted the bees. I came up with 337 bees. And here's the queen. I'm gonna let her go back in the hive. She's doing all right. Sorry for no close-up of the queen, but it's very hard to operate a camera when all this is going on. Have to leave it on a tripod. I'm gonna go ahead and install the beetle traps back in. Make room for the frames. And put it all back together. Didn't leave much room for that frame. But anyway, so I put all the frames back exactly where I found them. It looks like I put the beetle trap in there twice. I had to pull the trap back out because I forgot to put the frame in there. You can see the top of the frame there. You can see the outline of the beetle trap. That's how I know that I had the right frame on the outside, because they propolize around the outside edges of it and makes a nice little imprint. And like I said, I put 4 down my bottom here in the brood box. I want to catch as many as I can. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up the Apivar. Got my gloves on. Got scissors handy. And this right here is, there's actually 4 strips in there. And they're a little bit sticky. They've been sitting out in the sun, so they're not wanting to come apart. But I'll get them apart. It's probably not a good idea to leave them sitting in the sun, but I didn't think about that when I was doing it. So anyway, there's 4 strips in there. I'm going to break 2 apart, and I'm going to use my toothpicks here to hold them up. They do have little clips that you could, open up and stick it in there if you don't have any toothpicks readily available. And we're going to put them towards the center of the hive, maybe 1 frame apart, and you can just gently poke them down in there. And the little toothpick obviously holds it at the top. All right, so there you have it. That's how they should look. They should be hanging right there in the middle of the hive. This is the brood box. You put them at the bottom so that all the bees will come in contact with these strips. They'll walk across it. They'll scatter the insecticide through the whole hive as they walk around and kill all the Varroa mites. They'll be in the hive for 42 to 56 days, and that'll be enough time for the insecticide to do its work on the Varroa mites. Varroa mites go between egg to adult in 10 days. So at that many days in there, it should be enough time to catch all the adults and all the ones that are hatching. Now, while I'm in my hive, I'm going to go ahead and pull off this entrance reducer, and I'm going to put it on the small opening so that the bees can guard the entrance from robbing of the honey. This is the dearth season where a lot of the bees are looking for anything, pollen, honey, whatever they can do to feed themselves. So this right here, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity and go ahead and close it up for them. Now it's time to go ahead and put everything back together. The bees are all out on the rim here, and I don't want to smash them, so I'm going to go ahead and smoke them again. Try to get them off of the frame box. I've already killed enough bees as it is. I don't want to kill any more if I can help it. So this will run them off for a minute. Give them a little brush. And it's time to put this heavy super back on for them. Oh, I dropped a whole ton of bees on the ground there. They'll find their way back in the box though. Square it up the best you can. Try to get everything back together as quick as possible. And just let them be. Now this is the empty honey super. Nothing in it. None of the frames are drawn out. You're not supposed to keep your personal honey on top of this hive with the Apivar down in there. It can contaminate the honey, but since there's no honey in this box, I'm going to leave it for right now. All right, so that's going to stay in there. Those Apivar strips will be in there for 6 to 8 weeks. They'll continue killing the Varroa mites, and I'll come back in here and pull them back out. And I got my calendar set for that. And you're supposed to do one more mite test with the alcohol wash to see if you killed most of them at that point. That's really the only reason, but they say that the Apivar strips are 99% effective. But this is my first test and my first hive, so we're going to have to do that second test. Now, I came back later on in the evening, and the bees are bearding out the front. They're trying to figure out the entrance there. Every now and then 1 or 2 bees goes in. It's a lot smaller than it used to be. So everybody's hanging out at the front door. These are probably all the bees that I dropped on the ground when I pulled that honey super over. You saw that. Thanks everyone for watching. Please hit like and subscribe on the way out. I appreciate it. Have a great day.